106 R&B and throwbacks on 106 Live Radio. Atlanta's music leader.
Welcome and thank you for joining us here at the Rodney Appleby Experience, where together we can explore the mysteries of music. Without your presence, this will be impossible. I appreciate you tuning in to be part of our program.
Welcome to the Rodney Appleby Experience, broadcasting live every Tuesday night, 7 to 8 p.m. with the one, the only Rodney Appleby. And now, Mr. Rodney Appleby.
I have an exciting guest with me tonight, someone who basically has been making music for all of their life, and I'm excited to have him here tonight. So welcome here to the Rodney Appleby Experience once again, where we're going to continue to explore the mysteries of music. You guys feel free, call in at 404-464-8785 and have a conversation with us. So having a guest tonight, someone who's when we think of digital music production, usually we think of being in a home studio or something, using a computer to make music and kind of replace studios and stuff. And that is, in fact, what a lot of digital music production is. But digital music production is also a way that artists perform in a lot of ways. Like I myself, from time to time, will make tracks in my studio, put them onto my computer, take them with me and go play a party somewhere, or maybe play out at a little festival or something where it's not a big thing, but just kind of, and it's a way for me to make music kind of contained with myself. So it's a lot of fun just having that little ability and having a big sound with such little bit of equipment and being able to lay down your actual ideas. I can actually play the instruments and it's me performing for real. It's just I've recorded it and now I'm performing with myself live. So that's actually a lot of fun. Now that's the way I do it. Well, my guest tonight, whom we call Curtis Lovell, this young artist has a method of producing music that leaves her actually making music right on the spot, and building it in front of the audience with certain digital tools that she's using. And she's gotten very good at doing it. And I'm going to let her tell you the story about how she got around to doing such things. And also, so Curtis, how's it going, Curtis? Unmute your mic. Yes. Unmute
Hello.
yourself. Hey.
How are you?
Doing good. So it's good to have you on here. Now, just so the audience has context, just in the spirit of full disclosure, I've known you your whole life.
Yes.
Like I've known you before your life.
Yeah.
And I watched you grow musically. And I myself was one of the people that was kind of helping you along the way as you developed into the artist that you are today. So I don't know how much you really want to get into, but tell us just a little bit so they can understand the depth of your musical engagement.
Yeah, sure. So I've been singing all my life. I come from theater. My mother was artistic director and founder of Ujima Theater Company here in Buffalo, New York. So I've been on stage all of my life, and music, singing in particular, has always been really something that resonated with me. And Rodney said he helped, like it was something he was doing on some random basis, when really I was spending a lot of time with Rodney. I would think of him as my mentor first and foremost. Rodney helped me figure out how to be a musician, how to perform, as a solo artist, because really most of my work before that had been ensemble work, because I come from theater, and being a musician, being a vocalist, not being an actress. Don't let anyone tell you that they're the same thing. A lot of the same kind of tools have to come into play, but one is a different kind of vulnerable than the other. And Rodney really helped me hone that skill. And also what it meant to, as a solo artist, be my own businesswoman. What it means to book my own gigs and make sure I get paid, and what is the contract and things of that nature. So really, honestly, incredibly helpful in that way. So yeah, I sing jazz. I would say maybe it's my specialty. It's what I love to do first and foremost. And there aren't in Buffalo too many places for a jazz vocalist to find their spot, certainly to find a band. And I don't know if anybody else in the world has this problem, but I've had the issue of, outside of Rodney and a few others, because I have been blessed, to be fair, but a lot of my encounter has been you kind of end up being the afterthought on a band, with a band for a gig. Even though they paid you to come sing and you're at the front, you end up somehow in the back of every thought. There's not a lot of rehearsal. And when you get there, there's some things that have changed, keys have changed. And 9 times out of 10, you're not always getting what you were told you were in the way of pay at the end of the night. And I was really tired of that. And ultimately too, because I have my own standard of what I want my music to sound like, not having rehearsal was killing me. I come from rehearsal. We rehearse every night and that was killing me. So I am a lover of a cappella music. A lot of my introduction to music is a cappella. Bobby McFerrin, and so many others, and Zap Mama and the Manhattan Transfer and things of that nature. I'm a really huge fan of the voice mimicking instrumentation.
One of my favorites, if I can chime in,
Yes.
one of my favorites is Take Six.
Right, Take Six.
Yeah.
Sweet
and
Honey,
sweet Honey on the Rock. Yes.
So many influences. Exactly.
Absolutely. So that's a great foundation for me to ask you this question. Yeah. So in response to those difficulties of finding musicians and getting rehearsal time in and having the quality of the performance up, you found an interesting answer to that. Why don't you share a little something about the answer you found?
Yes. So maybe 2014, a friend of mine had reached out to me and sent me a link to Reggie Watts, who is a loop peddler, someone who he's working with way more machines than I am, EQs and things of that nature. And over the years, to be fair, the machinery has gotten a little more streamlined. You don't need all that stuff unless you're really about all of that stuff. But Reggie Watts is incredible, and he does this wild thing of building sound and vocal to create this atmosphere, this moment that is so much more to me than music. It's ambiance, it's narrative, and he kind of just sings whatever he wants to on top, and it's really off the fly, and it's here in front of you, and it's nuts. And I was like, I want that. What is that? You know what I mean? And I went through the comment section, and everybody was like, he's looping. So I went on Google and I was like, loop, what is a loop machine? And I found, they're usually 4 instruments immediately, like guitars and basses and things of that nature, but they do make vocal loop pedals. Found a vocal loop pedal that I could afford on Amazon, ordered it. It came the next day. I didn't do anything about like reading the instructions because I'm stubborn that way. I was like, this has got to be super intuitive, and it was. And I was using a Ditto Helicon, which is just 2 buttons and 1 kind of volume button. And that just gave me the opportunity to start stacking, but it doesn't give me what I have now, which is the ability to really kind of edit all of the sounds I make. But I recorded my first live album with the Ditto Helicon with a live audience, and I did everything in front of them in 1 take. No go backs, no start overs. I did everything in front of them, all my work in 1 take.
Wow.
And that was wildly inspirational. It really changed my need to work with others. It also let me be the kind of perfectionist and stickler to detail that I am. And it also gave me an incredible opportunity to create everything that I've ever heard in my brain, which was just like wow, letting the gate open in a rodeo, the bull came out. It was incredible.
Now I gotta say, I remember sitting with you and actually having you go through your notebook of lyrics
Yeah.
and putting music to different things with you and
Yep.
putting chord changes and finding your key and all that kind of stuff. I remember doing that.
Yes.
And I remember explaining to you some of what I was doing and what I was looking for and all that kind of stuff and why I was making choices I was making.
Yes.
So this now with this loop machine, you're able to actually build part by part whatever sounds you're hearing in your own head.
Yes.
So and you've produced an album that way.
Two
albums.
Yep.
And now I do have to say this about something you said with regard to being able to do it in one take. Now, as much as that may feel natural to you, and as much as that may be, maybe through some of the theater experience, and I know how demanding that can be, and through just the levels of people that you were with, like Oscar Brown Jr. and I mean, real jazz greats and these types of people. So that is not everybody's experience. And so maybe some of what you were having difficulty with when you talk about keeping things at the level and the quality that you were used to, maybe it was simply that you were used to such a high level and quality that was not to actually be expected everywhere that you went. Tell me what your thoughts are about that.
I would agree. I recognize the older I get, the more it is apparent to me that the experience I got was the one that whoever else was in the room with me also got. It is not a universal idea. It is not a universal understanding, and we are not all working under that kind of ethos. I was trained at the age of 4 to have a certain kind of discipline over self and over my craft. Even before I could even think about whatever about it was going to be me taking it seriously, it was already something that was ingrained as a tool, and really kind of manifested itself in ways in my life elsewhere, school and work and things of that nature. Tools you didn't even realize you honed and received because you were in theater, because you're in art all your life, because it has been my lifeblood. It was my mother's lifeblood. I got up every day with my mother to go to rehearsal. I did my homework at the end of the stage. You know what I mean? Like, that was just my life. I didn't think anything else of it until I started to have to share my art with people that weren't the people at Ujima, weren't my community, right? That really opened things. But yes, 100%.
So good. So you've had an opportunity to really see a lot of things, have a lot of experiences, even from a young age. And so now you're at the place with the digital tools that's going to allow you to be able to express yourself artistically and creatively the way you want to. So now with those kinds of tools at the tips of our fingers, which is kind of what I've been talking about, how digital music and digital music production changed how the music business works and put certain opportunities into the artist's hands more immediate and direct. One of the changes I talked about was us not having to go to big studios and pay large amounts of money for a few hours in order to get some quality recording done. Right. Now we can sit here, I can literally hit a button and do it right here in my home, So that kind of change. And now you're saying that you've found the digital tools that allow you to actually operate solo and yet build all the parts, the harmonies and whatever else you may need. That's going to be interesting. Do you have something that maybe later on in the show you can demonstrate for us or something?
Yes.
Because that just sounds like an interesting process. And it also sounds like something that everyone just can't do. It sounds like to me that those are the kinds of things, what you're doing, and I may have a little bit of knowledge about this, having been in studios myself, and one take, two take, three take, four take, whatever it may be.
Yeah.
I know that for myself, I would go in the studio, and one of the unusual things was that I could play a lot of things at a very acceptable level.
Sure.
First time,
Right.
And that just saves a lot of time when you can do that. And back in the days of big studios, that used to be a very valuable skill, because we would get paid by the song sometimes.
Right.
And if I could just play the songs down, just play them down, then that would allow me to play more songs in a shorter period of time and allow me to make more money.
Right.
So what does this allow you to do?
Well, having an instrument that I can take with me, that I don't need any other outside but me help or assistance, means that in the way of money, it doubles my money. Usually if I'm in a band, I'm with 5 other people. So it does that by, whatever that math is to my money, whatever. It would have been $150 gig, and now it's a $700 gig because I love it. So it did that. But then it also means, yes, I've got, because so I'm using the Boss RC505 loop station. I've got the ability to record and keep music. I've got up to like 104 or 100 slots where I can just record and edit music whenever I want, and it'll be there. So if I didn't want to have the effect, which I think is like also something that is a part of me as a musician, that I start from scratch every time. I don't save anything. I start the song every time from scratch, which means if you saw me sing it last week, probably ain't gonna be exactly the same this week, because I'm doing a whole nother thing. I'm starting it from up here. And it may also not be in the same key, which is also a blessing. I've got way more freedom, and because it's also just me, and I trust me, whatever I do here, there's no mistakes. And the wonderful part about being the lead is that the only person who knows that it was messed up is me. Much like theater, in the way that if you miss your line on stage, the audience doesn't know you missed your line, but and that's enough for you to, the next time you're on stage, be like, study your lines, But there's really kind of no such thing as any accidents on this thing. It ends up always doing something so cool. One of my favorite things it does is if I'm in an audience and somebody knows me and they go, "Woo, Curtis," or "Yeah," sometimes I'll catch it in my rhythm, so then it comes back in rhythm. And it's like, "Woo! Woo!" What I'm saying?
Wow. So you can actually incorporate live moments into your performance on the spot in real time.
Yes.
That's the digital thing really did open up some avenues and some pathways.
Yeah, it really gives you the opportunity to bring people in. Like, I can't tell you how many times I have asked the audience, because I'm blessed in the way that my community knows my music. So if someone in the audience is like, "Do such and such," I'm like, "Well, come do it with me," and they'll come up on stage and they're like, doom, 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 I'll turn on the bass effect and they'll do the rhythm for me and I'll track it, and now they're a part of the song, and the crowd is going wild because of
wait, you said turn on the bass effect?
Yes.
And what is that? What is that?
I've got over on 2 different sides of the loop station. I'll show you guys later. I'll turn the camera, but on either side of this loop station, I've got the ability to make effect, and then when those effects are laid, add more effect. So I've got the 3 I always use are guitar to bass, where it'll make it a little more tinny like a guitar, but then it'll give an incredible amount of bass and help me stay in the octave, which is usually what I'm using. And then I'm using dynamics, which is something that makes all of my percussion, all my beatboxing really clean, really sharp. And then I'm using reverb so that when I want to create those ethereal moments, something that feels a little more dreamy, that's what all of my melodies and harmonies are in. And those things together are just the immediate base of how I create sound.
So I'm putting this all together. So you started off by saying you found a vocal loop.
Yep.
And so what you're basically doing is singing all of this.
I sing all of it.
Drum parts, bass parts, guitar parts, all the wow. So this is really interesting. And you have to be a very talented person to even have all those different thoughts swirling around in your head. You know, I mean, I know as a musician, it does help to have other musicians who just think different than you
Sure.
around, and it kind of richens up the ideas.
Totally.
But when one can actually draw on the experiences that one have had with other musicians, one can actually do that. Let's take us a short station break, and let's let you get ready and give us a little demonstration of what it is you're doing, and let us see how you make this work.
Sounds good.
All right?
Okay.
.106liveradio.com, where excitement meets diversity 24/7. Today's R&B and throwbacks. Broadcasting live from Atlanta while serving the entire globe. It's the fastest growing radio on the web. It's 106liveradio.com.
Hey, it's your girl Stephanie J, and I'm going to show you this year how to take your life to the next level during my live coaching sessions. Join me every Wednesday at 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time and get a taste of coaching with a flair. Real life coaching with the authentic you in mind. It's time for you to step it up. I will see you in the room. Live coaching with Stephanie J on 106 Live Radio, where excitement meets diversity 24/7.
We've all felt left out. And for people who move to this country, that feeling lasts more than a moment. We can change that. Learn how at belongingbeginswithus.org. Brought to you by the
Ow! Did you know over 2,000 eye injuries occur on the job site every day, and about 1 in 10 of them require missed work days to recover? Of the total amount of work-related eye injuries, 10 to 20% will cause temporary or permanent vision loss in affected employees. And while many people think that eye injuries primarily occur in manufacturing, construction, or trade jobs, nearly 40% of work-related eye injuries occur in offices, healthcare facilities, laboratories, and similar environments. Flying objects, tools, particles, chemicals, and harmful radiation are the causes of most eye injuries, and in many cases, implementing safe work practices and utilizing appropriate personal protective equipment could prevent them entirely. We here at GTG Traffic Signals believes something as simple as putting on a pair of safety glasses can prevent serious eye injuries. These injuries are painful, cause many lost work days, and sometimes lead to permanent vision loss. This message is sponsored by GTG Traffic Signals, located in Marietta, Georgia. Reminding you today and year-round, remember to wear your safety glasses. Our 106 Live Radio platform is fully equipped with the best and latest in broadcasting technology to ensure that what our listeners hear is always HD quality. Hashtag Team 106 is dedicated to bringing diverse programs and professional on-air personalities. We are your hidden gem.
106liveradio.com, Atlanta.
Help me find a way through this darkness to the light of day.
All right. Welcome back, everybody. Tonight we have Curtis Lovell as our guest tonight, and she's going to be showing us a little something about another aspect of digital music production. So, again, just to recap a little bit, you basically use it as both a recording tool, an archiving tool, or an actual live performance tool.
Yes.
All right. So, all right. Well, give us a little run through. Show us what you're working with.
Okay. Let me see. Might be easier to turn you this way so I can try and show you. I wish I had the ability to turn the camera all the way around. Okay. So this is my RC505 loop station. These three buttons over here are the ones I'm using immediately to make my effects. All of these control the level, like volume. Up here in edit, I can change measure and effect and all of those things. I always keep the measure free so that I can have my own ability to change time signature. So like all of these don't have to be the same rhythm.
Nice.
This button down here where it says, the little triangle and circle are like record and playback. This is stop. And I have the ability up here to stop and start all of them at the same time. I'm going to put y'all down so I can make something for you.
Cool.
And then I'll flip back around. Okay. So can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. So I always start with percussion.
Okay.
And then I always go bass neck. And then I'll add some other little effects like some swishes or some hi-hat kind of things. And then my harmonies. So that's the whole thing. And then I'll start from the top. I guess you wonder where I've been. I searched to find the love within. I came back to let you know. Got a thing for you, and I can't let go. My friends wonder what is wrong with me. While I'm in the days from your love, you see. And I came back to let you know. Got a thing for you, and I can't let go. What you won't do for love. You tried everything, but you won't give up. In my world, there's only you. Make me do for love what I would not do. Some people go around the world for love, but they may never find what they dream of. What you won't do for love. You tried everything, but you won't give up. In my world, there's only you. Make me do for love what I would not do. Make me do. Ooh. There you go.
Wow. That's smoking. That's smoking. Wow. That was a surprise. Yeah, I didn't expect that. I didn't expect what you won't do for love.
Yes.
Very tight. Wow. And I see what you mean by one take. I see what you mean. The parts just kept falling out. Now, I got to say something. That's not really about the digital tools. That's skill and talent right there. The digital tool just make it possible for you to capture it like that.
Sure.
And to be able to return it like that, like reflect it back immediately now.
Yes.
That's sweet, man. I gotta give you a hand for that one, man.
Thank
wow.
You.
So this is how you've actually found your way.
Yes.
To be able to make music and not have to really worry so much about, what musicians are you gonna find to play with. And now let me ask you this, because again, that was really good. That's really good. So now when you do that, and let's say you're out at a big performance or something.
Sure.
And it's running through the sound system and everything.
Yes.
All of a sudden, it starts to sound huge and big.
Yes.
And I can imagine, because I came to Buffalo and I saw you guys at a very nice venue outside, and you happened to be performing, opening up for my daughter's group, actually. Yep. I just got to say, all of these talented babies all around me, it's scary. And here I thought I was like the talented, experienced old man. And you guys, man, wow, just incredible. That performance that I saw this past summer was incredible. And I saw you do some of what you're demonstrating for us right now.
Yes.
And coming through the speakers and everything, I got to say, it's pretty amazing how when you put what you call that bass effect onto your voice, how it sounds a bit like an upright bass.
Yes.
And when you do the beatbox thing, how nice and crisp the rhythms are, like you said. Yes. Now, I know that the digital can help enhance things, but can it really correct things if they're just out of place, out of tune, out of order? Can it do that?
So my machine doesn't in an immediate way where like there's a button for it, but there are machines that can. When you lay something down, you can turn on a pitch, like a vocoder or a pitch corrector. It'll just help you out a little bit, make some chords a little more round. Some places where you're sharp, it'll make it a little more, you know what I mean, or flat. But to be fair, when I'm doing my bass stuff, it's giving me maybe a half more octave than I have naturally. So to be fair, when I want the bass effect to do what I really need to do, I have to be in my own bass, where my own range of bass to get it to do what I want it to do.
Got it. So it can only enhance what you can actually do.
Absolutely.
Got you. Now, talking about these corrective machines, how much correction can they do? Because what you just did was very clean. The harmonies were nice and in tune. And I didn't really see any extra steps in between. I just saw you sing one part and then sing the next part and then sing the next part. I heard the harmonies stack and they were all nice and blended.
Yep.
So how much of that is machine and how much of that is you?
That's all me. Like I said, my loop doesn't have the ability to correct pitch. And because I've never used a machine that does that, I don't know how hard or how far it'll fix things for you. Unlike maybe like if you're in the studio where like that's a whole thing, auto tune and things of that nature, where you can kind of plug it in after you're doing something. So I don't really know how far it does it. So yeah, to be fair, much to your point, like it does take, I've got to know the harmonies. I've got to be I consider myself someone who already loves harmonies. So I like to think I'm very good at them. As soon as I lay one, I can lay another and lay the other. I don't have to have a lot of time in between what comes after. But to be fair, that's the blessing of working with yourself a lot. You know your strengths, you know where to go, you know it's going to take you more time, things of that nature.
We have a caller who's calling in. So I'd like to take our caller. Welcome, caller.
Hello.
Hey, Mr. Rodney, how are you doing? I just stumbled upon this round of YouTube parts there. I just got out the institution and I stumbled upon this, and I've been regularly enjoying the program here for about a few minutes, and I figured I'd call in and tell you how much I appreciate it, and if you do music and poetry, I'd appreciate that too.
Well, thank you so much for calling in. We hope you all the best.
Thank you.
All right, Dan.
Thank you so much for calling in. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
That was very cool. I'm so glad. So, that's why we do this. We do it because not only is it fun and it gives us a chance to share and network with one another and help each other see what's going on. But who knows? Anyone could just stumble across something and become inspired or really spark something in someone. And what it's just worth it. One of those human diamonds might come out of it,
Yes.
So back to your building the parts and everything.
Sure.
So you're not only singing harmonies, but you're doing drum rhythms.
Yep.
You're doing accents and different little things. Mm-hmm. So tell me a little bit about what inspires or what you draw from. Like what are you working?
Yeah, so like I said, I'm someone who's making music probably 9 times out of 10. I'm making music as we talk right now. You know what I mean? There's sounds happening all the time. My brain is stacking things together all the time. My immediate influences, like I said, are like Bobby McFerrin and things of that nature, but also not just a cappella music, because really a lot of the stuff I'm immediately calling to are things like Fela Kuti and Hector Lavoe and Willie Colon and, Sam Cooke and Dean Martin and Nat King Cole and all and Patsy Cline, a wide range of what inspires me. Everything from the crooner to the Afro Latina, Latino rhythms. Like I love all of those things, and my joy is finding how they come together. I make a lot of original music, but I make a lot of covers too. Like I did this cover of Bobby Caldwell's "What You Won't Do."
That was fire.
Woo. Thank you. And what I love about doing stuff like that is I love Bobby Caldwell. And what I love about making the music I make is that now when I hear music I love, I can hear the immediate equivalent if I was looping it. And I run to my loop and I turn on my amp and I'm like, let me lay it down before I forget it. You know what I mean? And then version of Bobby Caldwell's "What You Won't Do." But as soon as you hear it, you're like, that is what you won't do. You know what I'm saying? Like, I love that about it too. As soon as I make the cover, but then I start singing, people are like, that sure is what that is. Wow. I never thought to deconstruct it like that.
See, that's one of those things I call the magic and the mystery of music.
Yes.
The way you can actually approach something that can be so new and yet strike such a familiar chord.
Yes. And to be fair, when I'm doing this cover in particular, I'm mixing two kind of other songs on top of it. Tupac's "What You Won't Do for Love." He covers Bobby Caldwell's bass line in his rap song that's popular. And I'm also adding SWV's "Can We Get Kinky Tonight" on top of it. Those are from SWV with Missy Elliott, and that bass line is from Tupac. And then I'm adding Bobby Caldwell on top of it.
Wow.
But all still, those rhythms together give you Bobby, which is really, I love that about it. It is a magical thing. I I feel like I'm conjuring something every time I'm in front of it.
Last week, I had PJ on, Percy Jones.
Yeah.
And Percy talked about the libraries of loops and software packages that come in things like Logic and Pro Tools and the different DAWs that people use to record these days.
Yep.
What I just heard you say makes me think of something that's kind of interesting, because we also talked about AI.
Yep.
But you seem to be functioning as your own DAW, like your own set of libraries, your own loops, your own patches and sequences and samples. And only you're producing them every time in the moment.
Yes.
I don't think that's a usual live performance that we're actually seeing from anyone. Do you know of anyone else doing what you do?
I don't. And to be fair, that's like half my own hermit personality, where I don't do too much of venturing out when it comes to music. A lot of the stuff I'm listening to is stuff that I'm hearing kind of more mainstream. I don't do as much local things as I like to, but I would say, considering how long I've been doing it, I think it's certainly safe to say in Buffalo, there isn't one. In Toronto, there's Jordana Tulski, and she's got the same loop pedal. She sometimes is with a guitarist who's also using a loop, and that sound is phenomenal. Jordana is
I can imagine.
Wildly talented. But I also know that 9 times out of 10, I shouldn't say that, I'm assuming. I think sometimes she's using the ability to record that you have on the loop pedal just for the sake of time. You're alone for an hour and a half. You don't want to have to start all those things from scratch, which is dope that you can just save them in here and start whenever, start it up whenever you want, and it's doing exactly what you want it to do. But outside of her, I don't know too many folks who use a loop, and certainly who are starting from scratch every time.
Right. That's incredible. I got to say once again, Curtis, that's an incredible performance. And I love that version of What You Won't Do for Love. Is that something that you have available, something you've released, or is that just something you literally created in the moment?
I haven't done it live in a few years. So to be fair, this is my first time doing it since maybe 2020. I haven't done it since then. But no, I don't have it recorded anywhere because covering other people's stuff can be tricky. Right. My goal is to, within the next year or so, start putting together a cover compilation because they're really fun.
Well, because I consider this somewhat of an educational platform, an informative platform.
Yes.
Let's hope that fair use allows us to at least allow people to see how creative you are with that particular piece. So
thank you.
That's excellent. So what do you have coming up? Are you doing anything that maybe posted online or something we can keep up with?
I would say definitely for sure the next thing that I'm doing isn't really immediately me and my music, but my music originally. I'm currently working with Sam McGavern, who is a Walt Whitman scholar and enthusiast of his poetry, to create a soundtrack of poems by Walt Whitman in his work of Calamus, which is like a 45 poem collection of his work that's a little more about his sexuality and how that came into combat with his patriotism, with him being a lover of the Americas. And there's 6 poems out of that work that I've turned into music, and that will get recorded. We were doing it in June, but I think we're going to change it to July just because of how time has been moving. The summer has been great. The summer is already crazy. We're not even all the way into it yet. But that'll be July, and that all of that information will be on ujimacoinc.org's website, which is the theater company I'm with. And then outside of that, in September at 710 Main Street, 710 Shays in Buffalo, New York, I'll be doing Color Purple, the musical. And I'll be playing Sophia. Other than those 2 things, nothing too crazy. But whatever I've got will be on my Instagram. It'll be on my Facebook. I try to do my best to keep everybody up to date. Anything that comes up between now and the end of the summer will be up.
Good. Thanks for that. So, I wanted to actually check in and see. You mentioned Ujima Theater.
Yes.
And what are you doing over at the theater now?
So we're closing out the season with a show called Colored Water, which is by Erica Dispenza. And it is a work about a family of 5 women who are surviving the Flint, Michigan crisis.
Oh, wow.
Yes. And as, I don't know if anyone knows, but we are still suffering from the crisis. We are 3,314 days into still not having clean water in Flint. And at Ujima, we are good for trying to do work that immediately reflects our community, no matter whether it's in Buffalo immediately or Flint, Michigan, because wherever we are, it's our story.
Right.
So that's how we're closing the season, but it's an absolutely gorgeous show. And it runs until the 27th of May.
All right. Well, when we come back, you and I will wrap this up, and maybe you have some other pieces that you could share with us. And I have a little something that I'd like to share with you that's similar to what you were doing, just in my own way.
Sure.
Okay. So We'll be right back. Curtis Lovell.
It doesn't matter your withdrawal, or if you're big enough, you're bad enough, you're strong enough, you're fast enough, you know enough.
Broadcasting live from Atlanta while serving the entire globe. It's the fastest growing radio on the web. It's 106liveradio.com.
Don E. Miller, licensed professional counselor. He has the formula for wholeness: encourage, empower, educate, enrich. It's called the E effect, and it will change your life. The E effect will empower the individual who may be mentally impaired to get involved in programs to help them live a productive life. These programs, which also enrich those in need by providing education and information, which promotes a high quality of life. For more information, call Don E. Miller at 678-741-5337 or visit the website at www.theeffect.net.
Calling all authors. Do you want to promote your book? Get heard, get seen, make more money. Douglasville Books and 106 Live Radio is now offering promotional packages to create a better audience just for you. 770-949-4363. Douglasville Books, the people's choice. You're invited to our summer car wash fundraiser. Look at your ride as you cruise down the streets of Atlanta and you'll see something is missing. A good old-fashioned car wash. Well, look no further. Stop by 106 Live Radio in the Metro Fun Center parking lot for a special car wash event on Saturday, June 17th, 11 to 4 p.m. Our Team 106 will provide exceptional services and a fun experience. This is the place where excitement meets diversity 24/7. 1959 Metropolitan Parkway, Atlanta 30315. All proceeds go to the upgrade of our station equipment. See you there.
The Male Perspective, broadcasting on Wednesdays from 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. There will be guests and tons of great, useful information. Also talking about what's on your mind. Call in 404-464-8785. That's Wednesdays from 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. on 106liveradio.com, where excitement meets diversity 24/7 with your host, Don Miller, and co-host Willie LeGrand Jr., along with Ron Robinson. New year, new time, same great show. Remember, that's 106liveradio.com, where excitement meets diversity 24/7. We're heard worldwide.
Maximize your brand. Calling all hosts. Have you ever dreamed of hosting your own show? Well, 106 Live Radio platform is looking for positive, creative, self-motivated individuals and groups. Here you can host your own program. If you are serious and interested in joining our growing platform, Team 106 is happy to host you at our state-of-the-art studio. Please reach out to us at 404-622-4152 or send us an email at contactus@106liveradio.com. Bring your best self.
106liveradio.com, Atlanta.
Looking to get away, relax your mind, or take a short trip to your favorite destination? Then book your next trip with Love Travels. With Love Travels, your next trip or vacation will be an enjoyable one. No trip is too large or too small. Love Travels specializes in wine tours, land vacations, and cruises. Since the COVID-19 pandemic, not many people could book a vacation, but at Love Travels, you can now book your next vacation or trip with us. Contact Tilda Love for a consultation and booking information at 404-981-7457 or email at lovetravels590@gmail.com. At Love Travels, we love vacations.
Welcome back, everybody. It was so good to have you on this show, Curtis. Yes. That was an incredible little demonstration. And I gotta say, with that being your way of solving the problem of finding musicians, I gotta say, not only is that creative, but that is just so much fun, and it's a joy to watch you do it. I'd love to see you do that live again. I had so much fun this summer watching you do that, and I tell you, part of it is just. I'll put it this way: I was asking Percy last week if he thought that AI could ever make live performance obsolete, and for me, there's something when I think about watching a machine that was built and programmed to do something.
Sure.
It's not so impressive, but when I watch a human being who creatively and physically and through discipline and work put something together, and even then it's not a guarantee it's going to go perfect.
Absolutely.
All of that is very interesting. I think that's what entertainment is made of. It's the unsurety and just recognizing what it takes to do that. That same thing doesn't seem to apply for a machine that's just programmed to do it. So
and it's going to come right. A machine will do it the right way every time.
There's something about that just seems like okay.
Right.
Just okay. Whereas a human being, they may not be able to do what some of the machines are programmed to do, but they do such an incredible thing. Human beings are incredible, and they can do such incredible things. It's just fascinating to watch them do it. So thank you for demonstrating that for us. And I was putting together a little piece myself, and the same way you just put together a piece here and a piece there, I was taking, for example, in my program of Logic.
Yeah.
Just like you don't have to have musicians with you because you can stack all your parts together, sing them and play them and arrange them the way you want.
Yep.
That's what I was describing about the DAWs, digital audio workstations,
right?
Where they give us the individual parts. For example, a drum part. I want a drum part, right?
Yep.
So here I have
right.
So I have my drums. My drums.
Yeah.
But I have no drummer.
Right.
I don't even have the instrument here.
Right.
It's being generated through the actual program. And then I can actually put in my bass line that I want to play with that.
Right.
Right. Okay.
Yep.
Then I can put in with that, for example, if I wanted some keyboards. Now, again, I don't have any keyboards here, nor do I have a keyboard player with me. I got no, well, I do have a keyboard, but in this,
I know what you mean. Right.
I just took and played something that was already there. So
right.
I put that together, and this is what I end up with. So being able to put together music as simple as we can now, whether it's through loops and the way you're doing it,
right,
or through the DAWs and the way I'm doing it, it's clear that digital music production has given us a lot of opportunity to be able to make music the way we hear it, the way we feel it, and do it at our leisure. And it's not gonna put us at the mercy of big studios and
right, exactly, right. And it's easier to feel a little more easy about the kind of money you invest. Studio time is cheap, you know what I mean? Certainly if you're going to somebody who knows what they're doing, it's not cheap. And that kind of time, the time you got to take away from home, depending on what your life is, there's something really beautiful about being able to have a little bit of a studio at home, and it fulfills your needs, and you know that you can build on that without it meaning anyone else's schedule because it's at home.
Yep. Well, thank you, Curtis.
Thank you.
Glad you were able to be here tonight and give us that demonstration. That's going to stick with me. That was one of the hot moments on the show.
Oh, wow.
Thank you for that. Thank you for that. Thank you. So once again, everybody, the Rodney Appleby Experience here, where music is what's going to happen. So glad you guys tuned in tonight. And we hope that you'll tune in next week. Who knows what it's going to be? Maybe I can have my daughter come on, or maybe I can have another fabulous musician. Whatever happens, it's going to be a lot of fun, and it's going to be all about the music. Thank y'all so much for tuning in. Thank you, Curtis.
Thank you.